How's it going, everyone, and welcome to PowerExpress, where we look at the ins and outs of the Microsoft Power Platform. My name is Colby Tim, and today we're going to be looking at Power App Functions. So if you're not aware what a function is, just to kind of give you a brief overview of the kind of definition of a function, it's where you're taking in parameters, you're passing in parameters, and there's some type of operation that is done on those parameters, and then you have a result that's returned. So think of it kind of like it could be something like a math equation. So perhaps you're trying to calculate the square root of a number. You pass in a number to that square root function. It calculates the square root and passes a value back to you. So just one thing to keep in mind when you are looking at Power App Functions, a great resource, if you go to google.com and search Power App Functions, there's a great documents resource provided by Microsoft. You click on that, you'll be able to actually go ahead and look at all the reference guides for the various functions provided in Power Apps. So, perhaps you're looking at using the collect function, which we're actually going to be using today. You can actually find it in here as well. Yeah. Just a great resource all around, so I really recommend you take a look at that. So today we're going to be using two functions to help us build a very simple form. So the whole idea is I've basically used similar controls that I used in episode 2. So we've got two text inputs, and then we've got two buttons right now. And right now the buttons don't do anything. The text inputs just take in some text. And then we've got something called a gallery, and a gallery is just a way of showing a table's data. In our case, we're going to be using our collections data to show here. So just to kind of give you an idea of what a collection is, think of a collection as a table, and so every time you collect something, you're basically adding in rows into that table. So in our case, we're going to be collecting the first name and last name of the person entering their information here. So the first thing we want to do is click on this button, and we're going to be using the collect function. Actually, in our case, we're going to be using the clear collect function. The difference is clear collect actually clears the collection, so if there's any data in there, it'll wipe it out, whereas collect just appends to the collection. So we're going to say clear collect. We're going to call this collection user info. And basically what we're going to be doing is getting their first name. And so to get their first name, what we're going to be doing is getting the first name from this text input. So in my case, I haven't renamed this control, so it's still called text input. And then we're also going to be getting the last name. And so when I'm putting these names in here, first name, last name, that's naming the columns in that table. So last name, and then semicolon just means I can now add another function beside it. And we're going to be using another function called update context. And update context is basically creating a variable, a localized variable if you're used to programming. So it's a variable that's only used on this screen. So if you create another screen, you won't be able to access that variable. So it makes it localized so that we don't, if we go to another screen, it won't affect that other screen's variables or data. And here we're just going to say show info, that's what we're going to call this variable, and we're going to set it to true. And so what this is going to do is we're going to use the show info to hide and show this gallery. So if I click on the gallery right now, and I go into the visible property, I'm just going to set this to show info. And so by default it's set to false. So just be aware of that. In our other button, what I want to do is I'm going to say update context, same thing as before, and I'm going to say show info. I'm going to set it to false. So basically I'm now going to hide that gallery. So the one button will show the gallery, the other will hide it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a function called reset, and what they'll allow me to do is reset my text inputs. So if anyone enters any information in there, it'll reset it, clear it out. All right, and then the last thing I want to do is click on our gallery, and I'm going to select the user info collection that we created. And so this is going to show us our data in there. And there's a number of layouts that you can use. In this case, I'm just going to use the title and subtitle layout. So now we can go ahead and click play. So click the preview. I'm going to enter my information, Colby Tim. I'm going to say update and show. And you'll notice it'll show up here. And I'll say clear and hide. And you'll notice it cleared the information from here, and it's actually hiding that the gallery. And again, you can enter someone else's name, Joe Evans, clear and hide, clears it. So that just gives you an idea of Power App functions. I hope you found this useful. Again, remember, this is using the Microsoft documentation is a great way of learning about different functions and how to use them. So look forward to catching you in the next one.